Every blessing, it's hither by God's help. We've come here tonight to focus another hour on God's Word and worshiping Him. And I'm so thankful for the songs, Kai, and leading us in that. And I wanted to build off of our focus this morning as we were talking about throwing our talents. And in doing so, what we're doing is simply the blessings that have been poured out through that fount that we just sang about. That the seed that we've been blessed with, we're to simply throw the seed. And from there, we throw a banquet we talked about. And that from that, we throw our contribution in preparation for Mission Sunday next Sunday. But then the fourth and final point was throw your fear. And we looked at that based on casting all of our care upon Him because He cares for us. It sounded very similar to Psalm 55, where David says to cast your burden on the Lord. The burden, the anxiety, the fear, we can throw on the Lord. Well, in Matthew chapter 10 and verse 26, we did not look at this verse, but if you'll turn there with me, we have another concept or another side to the idea of throwing our fear. So have no fear of them, Jesus says, for nothing is covered that will not be revealed, or hidden that will not be known. What I tell you in the dark, say in the light, and what you hear whispered, proclaim on the housetops. And do not fear those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather fear Him who can destroy both soul and body in hell. The idea is, what would stop us from throwing the seed? It would be fear. What would stop us from reaching those who are struggling within our society? Fear. What stops us from giving to the Lord? Fear. He's saying, have no fear of them. But what Jesus offers us is a fear of our Father in heaven. The fact that He has given us the pattern, He's given us the mystery revealed, we respect and we stand in awe of our Father in heaven. But notice the fifth point for our lesson from this morning and to tie into our devotional tonight is don't throw away your chance. You see, this idea of having no fear of those who can kill the body but cannot touch the soul, it keeps us going because what did Jesus do when He came into this world? He gave us a chance. In verse 34, the word for balo, the word for to throw, is found. And it brings a whole nother perspective of what was thrown into our laps. Do not think that I've come to bring peace to the earth. I've not come to bring peace, but a sword. You know, when you read this verse, you're like, wow, this is really challenging because we know Jesus is the Prince of Peace. So what is He referring to? There's a context here because of what Jesus gave us and what has been thrown into the world is completely different than what came before. And those who had already adhered to Judaism, those who have already adhered to the kingdoms of this world, it's going to upset the apple cart, if you will. It's going to cause people to say, well, that's not what we are. We are not Christian. This is where we are. And so what Jesus is saying here is He came to bring not peace, but a sword. The word there for bring is balo. He's thrown that into the mix. Because verse 35 says, for I come to set a man against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a person's enemies will be those of his own household. Whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever does not take his cross and follow me is not worthy of me. You see, this really comes back to the idea of what causes us not to throw that seed in the first place. Well, this is going to upset my dad. If I strive to follow God, if I strive to uphold His kingdom, that is not my family. I have to choose God or my family. That's the context of what Jesus is saying. And he's saying, have no fear of them. You see, you realize even from within your own families, when you choose to follow God, it's going to cause rifts. But you know what's powerful is when the families recognize that you're real and you're true to the standard of the teaching of God, it causes them to recognize light. And it causes them to recognize darkness. And if we can stay the course, then peace can come to our father, our mother, our sister, our brother, or those who have not decided to follow. It can come to them because they recognize the difference. The idea is that we've got to make sure that we're not throwing away our chance to represent Christ to our families, even or especially when it's challenging. You keep going here. It says, whoever does not take his cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds his life will lose it. You see, Jesus came to upset the life that was in this world before him. God be praised that he did. Because if it wasn't for Jesus coming, he couldn't right the wrongs that were brought about by Adam in the first place. Jesus came to turn the world right side up, but the world saw it as upside down. And so tonight, have you turned your life right side up through obeying Jesus Christ? What it means is you've got to take up your cross today and follow after him. But so often, the life that we would choose can be in contradiction to the life of the cross. Whoever loses his life, Jesus says, for my sake will find it. How do we rectify this? Jesus lost his life for you first, so that you could have life eternal in his name alone. Jesus said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father except through me. That applies to every single person. And so my encouragement tonight is don't throw away your chance to grab hold of what he has given us and what he has thrown into our lap. He has thrown change in our state or our condition. For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. What is Jesus offering us? A change of our condition and the state that we were in before him. Have you grabbed hold and adhered to his message? Have you obeyed his truth? Are you taking up your cross? Can we encourage you? Can we help you in any way? Pray you'll come while together we stand and as we sing.
When we walk